Are you unknowingly surrounding yourself with a color that's quietly draining your energy every single day? Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, spent decades uncovering truths about the hidden forces that shape our lives. Among his most startling revelations wasn't about health, prophecy, or even dreams, but about the very colors in our homes. He claimed that these shades act like living frequencies, broadcasting signals that can either open the door to abundance or lock us into cycles of struggle. And one color in particular, he warned, should never be allowed to dominate your space. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover why this overlooked detail could be the invisible reason you feel stuck, and reveal the one color you should never use if you want your home to truly support your soul. Before we dive deeper into Cayce's extraordinary vision of colors, I'd love for you to pause for just a moment if this opening has already sparked your curiosity. Consider subscribing so you won't miss the rest of this journey. Now, who was Edgar Cayce? And why do so many call him the Sleeping Prophet? Born in 1877, Cayce lived a simple life on the outside, but within him lay a gift that baffled both believers and skeptics. In deep trance states, he offered thousands of readings that touched nearly every dimension of human existence: health, dreams, reincarnation, and the mysteries of the soul. He spoke of karma, past lives, and even gave insights that modern science has slowly begun to confirm. What makes Cayce's teachings remarkable is not just their range, but their practicality. He was not interested in abstract philosophy for its own sake. He wanted people to heal, to grow, and to live in harmony with unseen laws. And among these countless readings, there was a theme so unexpected that it still surprises us today: his attention to color. To Cayce, colors were not decoration. They were living vibrations that could either nurture or diminish the human spirit. Imagine that the very walls, fabrics, and tones in your home participating in the drama of your soul's journey. This perspective changes how we see our everyday environment. It shifts the ordinary into the sacred, reminding us that the smallest details of life are never small at all. When Cayce spoke about color, he was inviting us to rethink the spaces we inhabit as mirrors of our inner world and transmitters of energy to the universe itself. And that is where our exploration truly begins. We often think of color as surface paint on a wall, a fabric draped across a chair, a curtain that softens the light. But Cayce urged us to look deeper. He taught that colors are not passive, they are frequencies, alive with vibration, pulsing like notes in a great symphony of existence. Just as a single tone on a piano can create harmony or discord, depending on its context, every color carries a resonance that interacts with our bodies, our minds, and even our souls. Color isn't just a backdrop to your life. It's an active participant in your spiritual broadcast. Imagine for a moment that your home is not simply a shelter, but a kind of radio tower, transmitting signals day and night. The shades you choose for your living room, your bedroom, your workspace, they are the dials tuning that transmission. Some frequencies open doors, invite growth, and call in abundance. Others quietly close them, lowering your energy, draining your spirit, and creating subtle patterns of fatigue or stagnation that you might not even notice until years have passed. This is why Cayce insisted that our surroundings are not neutral. They shape us just as much as we shape them. When you walk into a room bathed in warm tones, you feel uplifted without quite knowing why. When you step into a cold, dim space, you may feel heavy or uninspired, even if nothing is wrong. These are not accidents. They are evidence of the soul recognizing vibrations, aligning or misaligning with them. And so, the choices we make, whether as simple as the throw of a pillow, the paint on a wall, or the flowers on a table, are never cosmetic. They are acts of alignment, declarations to the universe of the kind of life we are choosing to live. Cayce's wisdom here is both poetic and practical. It reminds us that beauty is not frivolous, it is frequency. And when we become conscious of this, we realize that every color around us is speaking a language to our spirit, guiding us toward harmony or pulling us into dissonance. The question then becomes, what signal are you broadcasting right now? Green, for Edgar Cayce, was never just another color on the palette of nature. He saw it as the very heartbeat of life itself, a living frequency that pulses through every forest, every field, and every blade of grass. When you stand in the middle of a lush garden or walk through a quiet grove of trees, there is a reason you feel calmer, lighter, more alive. Cayce would say that your soul is resonating with the frequency of green, the same vibration that animates growth, healing, and renewal across the earth. This is why he encouraged people to invite green into their homes, not simply as decoration, but as an ally in transformation. A potted plant by the front door is not just pleasant to look at, it acts as an antenna, cleansing stagnant energy and amplifying positive currents that flow through the household. A leafy corner in your office or a vine climbing near your window becomes a silent reminder that life is always expanding, always seeking to flourish when given the right environment. In moments when you feel blocked, whether in health, relationships, or finances, Cayce suggested that surrounding yourself with green could open pathways where before there seemed to be none. Green is not just a symbol of growth, it is the living frequency of life itself. To live with green is to align yourself with that eternal rhythm of regeneration, to let your environment breathe vitality back into your body, mind, and spirit. Gold, in Cayce's vision, was never about greed or excess. It was about reverence, an acknowledgement of the blessings already flowing into life, and the dignity of believing you are worthy to receive more. He taught that prosperity begins not in the marketplace, but in the soul, and gold served as a mirror of that truth. When people surrounded themselves with touches of this radiant color, their subconscious absorbed a quiet message: I am worthy. I am allowed to flourish. That shift alone often opened the door to new opportunities and the courage to step into them. Cayce paid special attention to the kitchen, calling it the financial heart of the home. Even a small golden object placed there, a spoon, a bowl, a framed picture, was like a beacon, broadcasting prosperity through the household. It was less about extravagance and more about intentionality, choosing a symbol that whispered daily reminders of abundance. Gold does not symbolize greed, but reverence for life's blessings, a mirror of the soul's natural right to flourish. To embrace gold, then, is to align with the rhythm of generosity that already moves through the universe. It is to say yes to life's gifts, not with grasping hands, but with an open spirit that honors what is given and trusts that more will always come. Red, in Cayce's philosophy, carried the vibration of pure life force, where green nurtures growth and gold affirms worth. Red arrives like a spark, igniting passion, courage, and movement when the soul has grown weary. He compared it to jumper cables for the spirit, a sudden charge that awakens what has been lying dormant under layers of stress or fear. Yet Cayce also cautioned that this power must be used with wisdom. Too much red overwhelms the senses, creating restlessness rather than renewal, like fire left unchecked. The key is balance. A single red pillow on the couch, a candle glowing warmly in the corner, or a bold piece of artwork hanging on the wall can be enough to send a subtle signal through the home, stirring vitality without overpowering it. Red also carries a healing gift for relationships. Couples who drift into routine, living in muted, neutral spaces, often find their passion dimmed. Introducing touches of red can rekindle that forgotten flame, reminding partners of the fire that first drew them together. And beyond romance, red whispers courage to face challenges head-on, urging us to step forward rather than retreat. To live with red is to remember that life is not only about peace and balance, it is also about daring, loving, and burning brightly. Red is that strong friend who, when invited at the right moment, reminds you of the strength and joy of being fully alive. Blue, in Cayce's teaching, was the counterbalance to the fire of red. Where red urged us to act, blue invited us to pause, to breathe, to listen. He often described it as the color of sacred stillness, a vibration that quiets the noise of daily life so the inner voice can finally be heard. In a world saturated with stimulation screens, alerts, endless demands, blue becomes a sanctuary for the soul. When you enter a space infused with its gentle tones, you feel the weight lifting from your chest, the racing thoughts beginning to soften. Cayce recommended blue for study areas, meditation rooms, and workspaces where clarity and wise decisions were most needed. He believed that blue does not only calm the nervous system, but also opens a subtle channel to divine wisdom, helping us respond from insight rather than impulse. In moments of grief, anxiety, or inner turmoil, blue is like a balm, comforting the heart and reminding us that peace is not the absence of struggle, but the presence of guidance. A simple blue wall, a cloth draped across a desk, or even a candle glowing with a cool hue can turn an ordinary space into a chamber of clarity. To live with blue is to open a doorway to wisdom, to step into a silence that is not empty, but alive with the whispers of the soul. It is the reminder that when the world shouts, the spirit speaks most clearly in stillness. White, for Cayce, was not the absence of color, but the field upon which all possibilities could unfold. It acted like a reset button for the soul, clearing away the dust of old vibrations and opening space for renewal. Where green brought growth, gold awakened worth, red sparked energy, and blue calmed the heart. White tied them all together by offering a clean beginning. He saw it as a purifier, expanding everything positive within a space and dissolving what no longer served. A white flower on the table, a candle flickering with soft light, or a cloth laid across the entryway became more than decoration. They were silent rituals of release, reminding the subconscious that the past need not define the future. Families who invited more white into their homes often reported sudden shifts, lighter moods, unexpected opportunities, and an almost miraculous sense of freshness. Cayce even spoke of a simple practice, placing your hands on a white surface and declaring your intention to let go as a symbolic act of wiping the slate clean. To live with white is to live with the constant reminder that every day is a new chance to align with abundance, love, and joy. It whispers to the spirit, begin again. The canvas is clear, and the future is waiting to be painted anew. Dark grey, Cayce warned, was not just another shade in the spectrum, but a silent thief of vitality. He described it as spiritual quicksand, a colour that does not attack with drama or noise, but seeps slowly into the fabric of daily life, pulling energy down inch by inch. Dark grey is spiritual quicksand. Its danger is subtle, draining vitality, joy, and motivation day by day. Surrounded by it, people often reported a heaviness they could not explain, waking tired even after a full night's sleep, feeling their ambitions dulled, noticing relationships becoming distant despite their efforts. Financial opportunities seemed to pass them by, and the spark of creativity felt smothered before it could take form. Cayce explained that grey carries the vibration of the impersonal, the sterile atmosphere of an office where duty eclipses inspiration. In a workplace, that neutrality might serve efficiency. But in a home, a space meant to nourish the soul, the same vibration becomes suffocating. The danger lies in its subtlety. You may not notice the drain at first. Instead, it creeps in day by day until you accept fatigue, stagnation, or emotional distance as normal. Cayce even referred to dark grey in bedrooms as a dream killer, a force that dampens the subconscious and leaves one restless, uninspired, or unmotivated upon waking. Yet he did not leave us without remedy. He suggested that if removing grey entirely is not possible, we can balance it. A vibrant green plant in the corner, a golden bowl in the kitchen, a red candle by the window, a blue cloth draped on a chair, or a white flower placed at the entryway. Each of these small touches infuses life back into the environment and pushes against the drain of grey. It is not about perfection, but about intention, about recognizing what silently weighs you down and choosing to counteract it with colors that lift you higher. This was Cayce's way of teaching us that the home can either become a sanctuary or a slow erosion of the soul, depending on the signals we allow to surround us. And so, as you reflect on your own space, take a moment to notice, is there too much grey quietly shaping the mood of your days? If so, perhaps this is the invitation to bring in light, color, and energy where it is most needed. If this truth resonates with you, I invite you to stay with me, because the next part of our journey will show you how to restore balance and consciously design an environment that supports your highest well-being. And so, after warning us about the heaviness of dark grey, Cayce did what he always did best. He gave us a way forward. He never wanted people to live in fear of hidden forces, but to step into partnership with them. He believed that colour, when chosen with intention, could become one of the simplest yet most powerful tools to reshape daily life. Intention was everything. A red candle on a desk was not just wax and flame, it was a reminder to work with courage and focus. A touch of gold in the kitchen was not just decoration, it was a signal to the subconscious that prosperity is welcome here. Cayce encouraged people to align their homes with the rhythms of nature itself, shifting accents with the seasons, greens and whites in spring for renewal, deeper golds and reds in autumn for grounding, softer tones in winter to cradle the spirit. These adjustments were not cosmetic. They were ways of reminding the inner self that life moves in cycles, and that we too are part of those cycles. He also taught the importance of protection. A single white flower at the doorway, a candle glowing near the entrance, or a light cloth draped across a table could act as a shield, symbolically purifying the energy of anyone who entered. And perhaps most intriguing of all was his practice of creating manifestation corners, small, intentional spaces dedicated to specific goals. Green and gold for prosperity, red and white for love, blue for wisdom. By surrounding a corner of your home with supportive colors, you turn it into a living affirmation, a place where your subconscious is continuously reminded of what you are inviting into your life. When these practices are brought together, every room begins to carry a clear purpose. In the bedroom, soft, uplifting colors protect your dreams and restore energy. In relationships, a touch of red paired with gold rekindles passion and appreciation. In the home office, green, blue, white, and gold create a palette for growth, clarity, and inspired success with just a spark of red to keep motivation alive. Cayce's message was simple but profound. Your environment is always shaping you, so why not shape it back with consciousness? This is not about chasing perfection, but about bringing awareness into the ordinary, until even the smallest corner of your home becomes an ally in your healing, your prosperity, and your joy. As we come to the close of this journey, it becomes clear that Cayce was never speaking about color in a shallow sense. He was pointing to something far deeper, the truth that our surroundings are mirrors of our inner life, and the shades we choose are silent prayers shaping our destiny. A wall, a curtain, a candle each carries a vibration, and when chosen without thought, they echo confusion, fatigue, or stagnation. But when chosen with intention, they lift us, heal us, and remind us that life itself is sacred. When we decorate with awareness, we do more than make a home beautiful, we make it sacred. That is the invitation Cayce left for us to see the ordinary as extraordinary, to turn the spaces we inhabit into partners on our spiritual path. So now, I leave you with a gentle question. What colors call to your soul in this season of life? Notice them, embrace them, and let them speak to you. And if you feel moved, share your reflections in the comments below. Your story may be the very spark someone else needs on their journey. If this message has touched you, consider subscribing so we can continue exploring the timeless wisdom of Cayce together. Because every step, every choice, even every color, is a chance to live with greater harmony, love, and depth.